Hey everybody, welcome to Office Hours Live, the weekly show where I teach people how to plan, launch, and grow a business that provides you with freedom, abundance, and purpose in your life. Whether you're starting from scratch or you're ready to scale your consultancy to 6 figures and beyond, and whether you sell products or services online or offline. This show is all about growing a profitable business based on what I call service at scale, where we combine the traditional service-based model with the tools and technology we have at our fingertips today. I'm going to answer your most pressing questions about clients, entrepreneurship, freelancing, lifestyle, and anything else that's stopping you from taking your business to the next level. And with that, I want to extend a special welcome to my students from freelancingfreedom.com who are tuning in. Your questions that you ask throughout this live show will be given priority since you've committed your time, energy, and money to be a part of the community. With that said, I'm your host, Brad Hussey. If you don't know who I am a consultant myself, a freelancer, and an entrepreneur juggling a few businesses at the same time like a crazy person, and also founder of freelancingfreedom.com, which you are more than welcome to check out at any point during this show. If you want your questions answered, just add them to the comments of this. If you're watching live, add them to the comments, and we will mark them as a question. I will get to your question throughout the show. And don't forget to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of the weeks. So when we do these every Thursday, you don't miss any of the notifications. And to make sure you get notifications, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube, and you'll be given a little notification about us starting. Today, we're going to be talking about the basics, getting started, building a strong foundation for your business. The topic that we are discussing today is modeled around module 1 of my new course called Launch Your Freelance Business. And you, if you're a part of the course already, then you can bring your questions about the course, about the module. But this is going to be modeled around that module and the content within that. So with that said, I'm going to say hi to the people here in the chat and we can get started. Let's see here. We got James. Good to see you. James says, hello. I like you better with the cowboy hat on. How's that? Subscribe to Launch, make my day. You're a funny guy, James. I got Philip or Felipe. Greetings from Peru. Cool. That's awesome. Monique, good to see you here. James says, the launch course is so good. Best I've ever taken online. Your biggest fan. That's amazing. Tools alone are worth 10 times the price. I really appreciate that. Alea, good to see you here as well. This is awesome. Darcy, happy Thursday. This is great. Good to see you here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here to kick things off is I'm going to actually share the first video in the module for the launch course. So, in module 1 of the launch course. Module 1 of the launch course is called establishing or building your foundation, and it's all about starting at the very center. So if you want to start a business that's profitable, that's successful, that serves people, that you feel provides you with freedom, abundance, and purpose, well, you can't just Google what is a good business idea and then just pick one and just run with it. For something that's going to last, that's going to sustain you, that's going to sustain your attention, and that's actually going to come through as honest and legitimate. If you have any hope for that to happen, you need to start with yourself. Okay, now I know I might sound like a grade 1 teacher here, but you have to start with what's inside. You have to start with yourself. You have to start with the person you spend the most time with, and that's yourself. So what I want to do here is I'm going to share the first video of module 1 from the new launch course. If you are a student of the course, you'll have seen this video before. It'll be a nice refresher. And if you're not a student of the course, it will be an introduction to show you what sort of quality and content you can expect from this new course. So check it out. You are who you are and what you are because of what has gone into your mind. You could change who you are and what you are by changing what goes into your mind. That's a quote from Zig Ziglar. Hey everybody, my name is Brad Hussey, and we're going to kick Module 1 off with a really fun and difficult question. Who are you and why are you here? Really, have you ever truly considered that question? Have you spent more than a few minutes at a time attempting to deeply understand the person you spend the most time with? Yourself. Do you truly know yourself? Your deepest desires, the thing that scares you the most? What's the story you anchor your life upon? Do you know what you're capable of? Or do you simply exist with yourself each day, assuming you already know what you need, what you desire, what your brain craves, what your heart thirsts for? What do you stand for? What do you expect of yourself and your life? Do you live your routine, follow unconscious habits, avoid the hard questions, and hope for the best outcome tomorrow? You are who you are, and you do what you do, no more, no less. That's good enough, right? Is it? Or are you letting your true potential slip through your fingers as time passes? Today, that's going to change. Here's how. In this module, you're going to spend some time getting to know you and your story, your goals and unapologetic dreams, and how you can achieve them. Your passions, your unique talents, and how to pursue what sets your soul on fire and have meaningful work. You'll find the compass for your life, your true north, and get to work developing the vision, mission, and values you hold for both your personal life and your business. You'll also rewire your mindset, the story you've been telling yourself, and field test some simple mindset shifts that will make a big difference in your life, your business, and the choices you make in both. And finally, together, we'll destroy some of the biggest lies that have been holding you back. You'll look your greatest fear in the eyes, overcome it, and harness it so that you might unlock your true potential. You get one chance on this earth, and there's only one you. Whether you like it or not, you're here for a reason. And it's your responsibility to find out what that reason is, and it's your duty to unleash it on the world. So, who are you? And why are you here? All right, so that was the first video of the course, Module 1, which is all about helping you discover the person you spend the most time with, building your foundation, unlocking your potential, and really getting started. So a lot of people, skip this step because they think, oh, that's hard. I don't want to go there. I don't need to think about myself or my, goals or my dreams or, my problems. I just want to start a business and I just want to make money. I don't like my job and I want to make better money, or I want freedom from 9 to 5. I want what that person has. I want what that person seems to have. I don't want this anymore. I want something better. I want more money. I want more time. I want more freedom. I don't want to think about myself. I don't want it. You have to stop there. In order for this to work, you need to build your foundation and you need to unchain yourself from and unlearn what it is that you've learned about yourself, about what you can do, about what's expected of you. And once you start addressing those things, then we can start talking about growing a business, because at the core of your business is you. You're the one who wants to start a business based on what you can do, who you want to serve, the things that you like to do based around your lifestyle. So at the very center of that business is not your client or your website or your idea. You're beating around the bush. Who is at the center of that very business? You. So if you're broken, your business will be broken. If you have a problem, then your website's going to, I keep saying website, goodness, then your business is going to have a problem. Your business is a reflection of who you are. And if there's something going on within you that's holding you back, then that's not a very strong foundation to build the business on. So we need to understand what's holding you back. And we need to deep dive into your story. If you want a lick of a chance at succeeding at business, this is going to be really important. And I start the course off with this module for the very reason that it's painful. It's difficult. It's challenging. I even had a couple people send me a message saying they didn't like it, saying it was unnecessary, inappropriate. It was, it was controversial. It poked. The reason why is because it poked a sensitive spot. When I was writing this module, I went to a weird place in my head, and I was, I was confused about what I was doing. And as I was creating this content for the first module, I had to ask myself all these questions in order to practice what I preach. And so you have to go really deep. And the better you can build a true foundation, the better you can unlock your potential, the better you can unchain yourself and unlearn what you've what you've learned about life and business in order to relearn it in a more efficient and better way. You have to go pretty deep. And so I kind of want to talk about that today in this session and to give you a little bit of something to think about and then some action steps. James is saying here in the comments, by following your delegation advice, I was able to take today off and ride 20 miles to the promised land. Got more work done than I've ever been able to do. SOPs made a big difference. That's awesome. James is referring to content within the launch course about systemizing and delegating, automating, things like that, which we will get to that topic in an upcoming Office Hours Live. And if you're in the launch course, then you have access to that content right away. So today, let's talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about your building that foundation, and we're going to address your dreams and desires. And I would encourage some participation in the chat here if you feel comfortable. Maybe we'll talk a bit about your passions, and I want to talk about the vision, mission, and values statements. And then I'm going to address a couple of mindset issues. So, of course, this is going to be a very abridged version of what you get in the launch course. In the launch course, we have 9 video lessons and there's 4 workbooks, a reading list, resources, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is just going to be skimming the surface on the topics that you would get within the launch course. And so if you're liking what you're hearing and you want to dive deeper into this, this is just scratching the surface of what you can expect in the launch course. So your unapologetic dreams and desires. So I like to try this. So feel free to do this if you're at home or if you're somewhere that isn't going to be too embarrassing, but put your hand up as high as it can go. Okay. Now, if you've seen the video, you know what's next. Put your hand higher. It's this funny little trick that I was at a conference and Seth Godin asked everyone to do that. Put your hand up as high as it can go. Everybody put their hand up really high. And then he said, okay, now go higher. And everybody went higher. And he jammed on that and went really deep into how we hold ourselves back and we put limitations on ourselves. I've even seen it explained it was like a Navy SEAL or something like that. And he said he was training just an ordinary fellow. And this ordinary fellow wanted this Navy SEAL to train him in the ways of a Navy SEAL. So in terms of exercise and endurance and things like that. And so he said it was something like the Navy SEAL made this guy do 200 push-ups. Now I'm just kind of ballparking numbers here, but an insane amount of push-ups. The guy couldn't even do 200 push-ups, but he made him do 200 push-ups. And then when he got to 200 push-ups, he said, okay, now do it again. And miraculously, he was able to do it. Now, mind you, I think it took him like an hour, but he thought, oh, I can only do like 20 push-ups. The guy made him do 200 push-ups. He got through it. He surprised himself. And then now he said, do it again. That's impossible. Of course, it wasn't impossible. He just got over the mindset of thinking, I can't, I'm not able, I'm weak, I don't have the endurance, I don't have the ability, that's not for me, I'm not like that. And he got over that. and did it again, even if it took him a really long time and he felt like his arms were falling off. We put limitations on ourselves about what we think we can do, what we think we can achieve. The way I see it is that we're created for a purpose. Now, some people don't believe that. That's fine. But I believe that we're created for a purpose, and we have amazing potential to do great work while here on earth and to add such value to others' lives and to leave the world in a better place than you found it. So if we're just limiting ourselves to putting our hand up here, or to only doing a quarter of the push-ups we can do, or to only pushing ourselves to 10% of the limit we can actually achieve, that bleeds into everything. That mindset bleeds into everything that you do. So if you feel, oh, I can only do this, or I can't do that, then that's it. That's as far as you get to go. You actually just decided your fate of the amount you can accomplish. Now, I'm not trying to encourage or say this is an argument for I want everything on a silver platter. I want the world and more. I want more money, more success, more fame, more attention, more glory, more this, more greed, me. No. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I think that that's evil and dangerous, a dangerous path to go. But if you have the potential to do way more than you believe you can right now, then you can use that for tremendous good, for freedom within your life, to get away from, say, I believe in starting your own business. I think that people are growing large businesses by working for other people, and they're not taking care of themselves. They're hinging all of their financial, they're hinging their finances on somebody else paying them and hoping that they stay at that job and that they don't get fired or get laid off, or that business owner who's taking all the risk doesn't go under. So they're hinging all of our financial well-being on somebody else. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that needs to be your responsibility, your job to figure that out. Okay. Now, yes, of course, we need people who are employees. We need people who have jobs. We need people in various industries, but you're here for a different reason. I'm speaking to specific people who want to leave that because they believe in their hearts, I can do something myself, or I am doing something myself and I want it to be better, or I want to serve more people, or I need to have this be more successful. So my point is if we're limiting ourselves to say, I can't start a business, I couldn't do it, or I don't know, it's not for me, I heard somewhere that it's hard, or it seems like it's difficult, or I couldn't imagine replacing my income as whatever your job is of, say, $70,000. I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to replace that myself. I'd rather not. Well, then there's your limitation. You've just decided that you can't do it. And so for me, that's the first point, is you need to unlearn all of that. You need to eliminate all of that nonsense. And you need to first challenge yourself to have an unapologetic dream of what you think your life was meant to be. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I want to be so rich, I want to be on a beach, and I want my life to be so beautiful and all these things. Stop thinking about yourself in that sort of selfish way and think about yourself as, what is the potential that you have within you, so that you can change the world, so that you can change a little pocket of the world, so that you can help more people, so that you can serve people in a meaningful way, so that you can serve your family, so that you can allow abundance in your life, so that you can share it with other people, so that you have more flexibility and freedom, so that you're not just spending all your time at a job you don't like, to come home, to do the same thing, to repeat the whole thing over and over and over again, hopefully until you can retire, and then just spend the last few years of your life doing something remotely, freeing. We have this amazing life right now. And so I want you to be able to tap into all of the possibility. that you have available to you right now. So you need to have an unapologetic dream and desire for something way bigger than you thought. So I'm encouraging you guys to do this here in the chat if you want, is think about what is it that you imagine for yourself? What's that sky high dream of what your business looks like, of what your daily, ordinary but extraordinary life looks like? What does that sky high dream look like? Not the one where you go, oh, it'd be nice to get a raise and have a little bit more, and then maybe I could save a little bit extra, and then it'd be nice to start donating a little bit more money, and maybe save up a little bit so my kids can, fund some of their education. No, I want you to go real big, really high. I like to use this as an example. Like when I walk into our church, there's a little chart that says, this is how much money we were trying to raise this year. And you could see that slowly it's creeping up, but it's not really that fast. For me, one of those big dreams I have, those unapologetic dreams, is I would love to walk in, see that chart, and go, they need X amount of 30,000, 20,000, whatever their thing is for the year, to pay the salaries of the people who dedicate their life to the church, to the people who are donating time to education and all these other things, to keeping the building, all this sort of stuff. And they're just like, have a modest budget, and their goal isn't quite there. I'd love to walk in and go, this is how much I need. I'll write a check and anonymously donate all of that money so that it's done. That sort of thing versus, oh, wow, I'll just contribute a small amount. That sort of thing. Or, here's another example. If you have a family emergency and you need to fly across the country or to a different country and last minute, and the bill for the airplane, the ticket is insanely high, and you go, I guess I can't be there because I can't afford that. I would like to be able to see that and go, yep, it doesn't matter, the price. That's not a problem. So you don't have to worry about bills. So you don't have to worry about saving money. So you don't have to worry about emergencies coming up and, you having to, be in dire straits. These sorts of things, so that you can have an unapologetic dream of what it is that you would like to be able to have within your life. So that's the first point. I can really jam on that for a long time, but we have an hour for the show, so I don't want to jam on that for too long. So that's the first thing to think about, your unapologetic dreams and desires. What's that blue sky vision of what your life is and what you offer? Okay. Now, here's something very important that I think you need to listen to pay attention to: vision, mission, and values. Okay. So, the vision, you've probably heard this: a vision statement, a mission statement, and you may or may not have heard of a values or principle statement, but I'm going to let you know what they are right now. You can have both a version of this for your personal and professional life, and I encourage that you do that. So let's start with your personal vision. Your personal vision, mission, and values. The vision statement is the kind of that blue sky dream of what it is that your life will look like far from now. So a personal vision is your aspirational statement where you wish to be, what you wish to become, and where you want to go. It provides you guidance toward an ideal, optimal you. Okay. It helps with long-term decision making. So when you have that vision, then you can anchor what you do based on that vision. So here's an example. Oprah Winfrey's vision statement is to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring my students to be more than they thought they could be. Okay. So it's something aspirational, something that you can you see way off into the distance. Okay. Now a mission statement is, the statement in which you declare how you will commit to achieving that vision. Okay. A vision says, here's my dream. A mission says, here's how I will do it. Okay. So I like to say, if your life were a treasure map, The vision statement would be an X on the X that marks the spot, and the mission is the dotted line that gets you to the X. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's some. Let me give you an example of a mission statement. We have one from Maya Angelou. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, compassion, humor, and style. So it's kind of like a hybrid vision mission, but it's how you plan to achieve the vision. Okay, and then principles. So vision, mission, now principles or values. Interchangeable word there. Principles or values are the core rules that you have written on your heart, that the rules that you live your life by. So principles are written on your heart. They serve as your compass. They're like your internal lighthouse. They help you with every single decision you make. So whenever a hard question comes your way, or even a decision or anything, you can go to your list of principles and go, that's not in line with what I'm about. I'm going to skip on that. Okay. So here are some of my personal principles. So family first at the top, be a gentleman. Those are hard to come across nowadays. Do your best work or don't do it at all. So no compromising, no crap work, only the best work or don't do it. Believe in what you create, because if you don't believe in what you create, then the people who you're creating it for won't believe in it either. Focus like an eagle. Laser in and focus on the task at hand. Expect more of yourself and of those who seek your guidance. So I have a high bar of expectations for my students within my courses, because when you have somebody who expects something of you, you tend to want to live up to those expectations. And you can use that for good or for evil. And I like to think that I'm using that for good. So in the courses, I have high expectations of my students because I want them to be able to achieve more than they think they can, because I know that they need a helping hand to lift them out of where they currently are. And so when I expect something more of myself, or when I expect something more of my students, I should also expect something more of myself to practice what I preach. Add unapologetic value, and don't compromise on your faith. So those are my personal principles. Okay, so that's the personal vision, mission, and values. You can also do this with your professional business. Now, this is where you mostly hear it. The personal vision, mission, values is kind of like it's not as common as when you walk into a business and you see on the wall our mission statement or our vision. And that's what you need to create as well. So what's the vision for your business? What's that 20 years, 30 years from now? What's that legacy that you want your business to have? Apple's vision back in the 80s, I think, was a personal computer. It might have been Microsoft, I'm not sure, but every single person in the world has a personal computer. That's basically what it was. Kind of, tweaked it a little bit there, but that's pretty much what it is. They wanted everybody to have a personal computer by a certain date. And so the vision is something far off. So here's another one. Elon Musk says we're going to land people on Mars by 2025. So that's a vision. That's an aspirational, long-term vision of what your business is going to be. Now, you also need a professional mission statement. So how are you going to get to that vision? Okay. So by which statement will you, your team, and by extension, your customers commit to in order to achieve your vision? So let's see, here's an example. Starbucks our mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Very tangible. You're on the ground, you're at base level. Their mission is practiced with every single cup of coffee, every single person, and every single neighborhood that they're a part of. So it's not so much if their vision was, a Starbucks on every continent of the world or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what their vision is, but the mission is it's possible their vision could be the best coffee in the world, something like that. But how are they going to do that is one person, one cup of coffee, one neighborhood at a time. So you see how the mission works, how it's more so, how are you going to get yourself to the vision? Now, the principles are the core values that you'll run your business by, okay? So this will help you to know if what you are doing, if a new client or a new opportunity or a choice or a decision comes your way, you can look at your principles and ask yourself, is this in line with my company principles? If it's not, you can say no. If it is, then you know you're on the right track. So think ConvertKit, a company I use. Here's a shirt I'm wearing. It's an email marketing company that I use in my business. It's kind of the lifeblood of my online business. And we'll get into that content. We talked about ConvertKit and automation and stuff in a previous session, and we'll get into that content later on too in an upcoming session. But basically, their values, some of them are, as it says in this shirt, teach everything you know, create every day, and work in public. And so their company abides by these principles. So if they have something to teach, they want to teach it. They want to teach everything. They want to pass that on as a legacy. Create every day. So they're very creative, and they believe in creating. Everything you create, you should be creating it every day. You should be being creative, because the human spirit is creative. And work in public, so transparent. So when they're creating something, when they're sharing something, they want to be transparent about it. And so that's the personal and professional vision, mission, and values. So it's important that you keep those in mind. You need to have those. You can't not have those. You can't go, well, I'll skip on that. I'll skip on thinking about what my goals are, and I'm going to skip on vision, mission, and values because like whatever. I'm just going to like start up a great online business that makes $100,000 a year. It's going to be so great. It's going to work out so well, and it's going to make me a lot of money. I can tell you right now that that's not going to work. Okay. Rebecca says, what was on my back? Oh, ConvertKit. ConvertKit, grow your audience. Okay. So that's the mission, vision, mission, and values. So you need to have some unapologetic dreams and desires. You need to break yourself from those chains that you have. And you need to create and craft vision, mission, and values. Now, mindset is a huge thing. Okay. There's a few mindsets that get in the way of you truly thriving. Okay. And I like to call those mindsets, or I'm borrowing some of these names from where I've heard them as well. But this is what I call them: the millionaire mindset, the significance mindset, the abundance mindset, and the fear mindset. Okay, all this is covered in the course, but as kind of a surface, kind of touching on each topic. Millionaire mindset. The millionaire mindset is the first step to building meaningful wealth in your life. Now, it's not necessarily about becoming a millionaire, but again, I like to shoot really high so that you can break out of this kind of ordinary zone that you're in. The reason why I like shooting high as well, Tim Ferriss says this in his blog and his book and everything like that. He says that it's easier to accomplish a goal that is outlandishly high than it is to accomplish a goal that's average. Why is that? Because a number of reasons. One, if you shoot really high, you already know that there's going to be roadblocks, and you anticipate those roadblocks. You know it's going to be hard. It seems near impossible, and there's roadblocks. So you are already prepared for those roadblocks, and therefore will have the mental fortitude to be able to overcome those roadblocks. You'll get to a roadblock and go, aha, I knew this was coming. How do I get myself over this roadblock? Whereas if you aim for an average goal, so say for example, your goal is, I want to make $500,000 per year in my business. Let's say that's your sky high goal. And you think it's just like, I don't know how in the world that'll ever happen. Versus, let's say your goal is $50,000, okay? 10 times the difference. If your goal is $50,000, it's pretty average. It's quite low. Businesses should be making way more than $50,000 in order for you to be going full time in it anyway. You know, I want you to be getting to a regular $75,000 to six-figure business revenue mark for your business to be truly thriving. Okay. But if you're aiming at $50,000, the things you're going to do, the roadblocks that you're going to come across, you're probably not even going to be thinking about that. You're going to go, okay, I should probably, okay, a couple $1,000 here. I'm going to do this. And then you just average, normal, ordinary. Everything is just average. Your effort, your fortitude, your endurance, kind of like doing the push-ups. It's like you saying, I'll do 20 push-ups, and then you get tired at 18 push-ups. Whereas if I said you need to do 500 push-ups, you're going to blast past 20 push-ups, by the way. And you're going to start getting tired way further than that. But then you have to keep going. So if you set your goal to $50,000, then okay, well, you're going to put in the effort that earns $50,000, likely less. Tell me, would you rather set the goal to $500,000 and only make $100,000 versus setting the goal at $50,000 and coming up at 30 or 20? Which one's better? Obviously, the former. Yes, Elay says the power of the mind. It's what you tell yourself, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. So if you believe that you can do it, then you're going to be able to anticipate the roadblocks that come across. So the millionaire mindset is the first step to breaking out of that. Okay, I'm poor. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not going to make a lot of money. Oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't. I can't afford this. You spend all your time thinking about budgets. You spend all your time thinking about how you don't have enough money. You spend all your time thinking about how money is tight, how money is hard, and all of your mental resources that are dedicated, to finances are negative and dark and dismal and stressful and scary. Whereas if you change that and go, okay, there's a lot of money out there. I don't need all of it, but if I had this much, then things would be easier. Okay? Instead of thinking about, oh, how do I save this? How do I save that? This is too much. That's too little. I can't do this. I can't do that. I have no ability to do this. Then that's what you're going to be focusing on. You're not just going to magically then grow a business that makes $500,000 in a year. Okay? It's not going to happen. But if you go, I have the ability to do that. And my business I'm going to do that with my business. I'm going to figure out how to make it work. Then you're on the right track. Okay? I'm not talking like the whole manifestation, the secrets, that's absolute nonsense. You don't just think about making money and then money happens. It doesn't work that way. What does happen is just basic biology and basic, how your brain works. If you go, I want my business to succeed and make $250,000 a year, it's not just going to happen. It never will. Sorry to burst the bubble. But what will happen is you go, okay, so now what do I do? So if you imagine what it's like for your business to earn $250,000 in a year, you go, well, that feels pretty good. I like that. I would like that. And that would free me up to do this. I could quit my job. My wife could leave her job. We'd be able to buy the house that we wanted, stop renting. We can move to that town that we've always wanted to live in. We'd have a bit more flexibility here. We could start saving and I could start giving more money because right now things are really difficult and hard. So you imagine, whoa, that'd be really nice. So you envision that what that could be. Yeah. Okay. But it doesn't end there. Now you have to actually work on it. So now that you imagined what it's like to have that, what would that person now do to get themselves there? And then do it. Okay? Yes. So that's the millionaire mindset. I like to ask, do you believe that it's possible for you to become a millionaire? Now, if you answered no, then you have a limitation on yourself. What I would like for you to say is yes. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to become a millionaire or that you're going to be, or if that's it. And it doesn't stop there. It's about, do you believe it's possible for you to generate significant, meaningful wealth around your business? Because if you don't believe that, then you got some work to do. Okay? Okay, so that's the millionaire mindset. Maybe what I'll do here is I'm gonna answer a couple questions because I see lots of comments happening here. Grady says, Brad, I've done well in getting the work and do a lot of freelancing on the side while I work full time, but my wife worries about things like medical insurance and other things. Do you have good resources for that? Grady, because I'm not American, I don't have to worry as much about paying insurance and the exorbitantly high medical costs that Americans typically, that United States Americans, that U.S. citizens rather, have to worry about. But Alea just said, I'll put some resources in the Slack group because Grady, you're a student of ours. From what I can tell, Alea will put some resources in there. Because I come from Canada, I can't really speak from authority when it comes to medical bills and stuff. I don't really have to worry about it. But that said, I do understand, when you're growing your own business, you need to take care of expenses. So here's the thing. Alea says, as a small business owner, I use my business for medical insurance. Yes. So there are things that you can do, I'm certain, and Alea will share some resources for that. But what I like about, when you work for an employer, yes, they provide you benefits and stuff like that. Some do. For me, those benefits, the salary plus the benefits that I got were lesser than what I could do myself. So instead of capping myself out at like a $40,000 salary with some basic benefits, I could go, okay, well, what if I can create a business that makes much more than that and has the surplus in cash and revenue to be able to pay for medical bills. So I don't have medical insurance. We don't necessarily need it for lots of things in Canada, but there are lots of privatized things like, if you need to go to the eye doctor, dentist, massage, chiro, things like that. And so you need to pay for those out of pocket. Now, our insurance would cover that, but so my business pays for that through the insurance that we have. And so anyway, my point is when your business makes good money, then you don't worry as much about things like medical bills or insurance or, fees coming out of nowhere or an emergency cost, things like that. But I do understand your hesitation of, I do a lot of freelancing on the side, but you're worried about if you're full time, how does it work with medical bills and such? The beautiful thing that we can do nowadays with tools and technology we have available to us is we can grow a side business that's significant, and you can start growing that and systemizing it to get to the point where that one, if you just want to keep both jobs, that's great because you can automate and systemize a lot of your service-based business. But if you want to go full time with that, then you can start scaling that up and then your revenue can start skyrocketing. Okay. So that was a question. We got a question here from, no, that was all. That was all the relevant questions for this moment. If you have any questions at all before the end of the hour, add them to the comments and we'll address them. Okay, so that's the millionaire mindset about money and finances. Do you believe that you can actually create wealth in your life and in your business? If you don't believe that, then you're putting a limit on yourself of what you can actually attain or obtain and work toward. But if you believe that you can, then okay, now you get to work on it. Now you've removed that barrier. Now you get to work on it. Okay. Significance mindset. This is a huge one. It's the big lie that holds you back. The whole, am I good enough? I don't think I'm good enough. A lot of people struggle with this. Probably a lot of people here have said this before. I'm not good enough. I don't feel good enough. I'm not worthy. I couldn't possibly be as good as that, or I couldn't do that. I don't have clients. That person's so good. I'm an introvert. He's an extrovert. My life would be so much better if I had that. They have that. I don't have that. I'm not good enough. Am I meant to do anything meaningful? But here's the thing. That mindset is pure poison. It's pure poison. That's just like from the inside out, like a cancer. Just creating a toxic, poisonous spread. If you're just believing that you're not good enough, that you're not valuable, that, that you're not meant to do anything meaningful, that you're just here for nothing. And I don't know. For me, that's just no good. And I think it'd be a tragedy should you live your life believing the lie that you're not good enough. Because believing that will confine you to its darkness, and it's happy to keep you there. I don't like that. But you are good enough. You are, and that's just the beginning. That's just okay, get yourself out of that headspace. You are good enough. Now you need to remind yourself of that. You need to tell yourself you are. You need to remind yourself, yeah, I was made to be something beautiful, and I was meant to do something meaningful. I have value, and you are not nothing. You were created for greatness, and you uniquely were meant to do something. And only you can be you. But if you judge your progress and your success, your happiness, your meaning, your wealth, your well-being, your joy, your self-worth by comparing it to others, then you'll never, ever, ever come out on top. You'll never win, because there will always be somebody bigger, better, stronger, faster, taller, richer, more talented, whatever. But they're just people like you. The people you're comparing yourself with, they're just people with strengths and weaknesses and insecurities. They're just the same. They probably struggle with feeling not good enough. And if you feel that and you want to be like that person who also feels not good enough, then we're doomed. So get yourself out of that mindset. It's a tragedy and it's poison. You are amazing. You are created for something great, and you have something to contribute. So the sooner you get yourself out of that I'm not significant mindset, the better off everyone will be. Because when you start realizing that you matter, then you can start doing something that matters. Okay? That's all I got to say on that one. I hope that struck a nerve. Okay, so that's the significance mindset. The abundance mindset is kind of the, inverse of that. So people, so now that we know that there are always going to be someone who's better, stronger, faster, richer, any of that, now that we know that, okay, that's not a problem. There's always somebody better at something. Who cares? More power to them. Here's the thing. If you think that there's not enough, and you think that there's not enough to go around, there's not enough work to go around, there's not enough money to go around, there's not enough attention to go around, if there's not enough, then okay, well, you're not worthy of that. That's having the mindset of not having enough. That's the total opposite of an abundance mindset. That's you feeling like there's not enough to go around. Okay? But what I like to say is there is always room at the table, even if it's one you built yourself. You don't need everything, okay? And there is an abundance out there. There's an abundance of clients. There's an abundance of money. There's an abundance of attention. There's an abundance of whatever it is that you're looking for out there. And you don't need all of it. But what you do need is to know that you can access it. Now, you don't need to have all of the clients. You don't need to have 10,000 clients. You just need a few hundred that pay you thousands per year. Now you've got a great living. That's not that hard, okay? There's an abundance out there. And the sooner you can believe and tell yourself that there's more than enough to go around. It's not a zero-sum game where if you win, I lose. I actually believe the totally different mindset. If you can create something that matters, solve a problem for somebody. So if you identify a market that you want to serve, a group of people, you find out what their problem is, and you serve them and solve their problem, the better you can do that, the better you can selflessly serve them and make their lives and their businesses way better than they've ever realized. The more you can make their lives better, the better your life is going to be. Because one, you're going to feel great, and two, you're going to be rewarded in terms of revenue. There's more than enough to go around. There's room at the table, even if it's one that you built yourself. Okay, now the fear mindset, the final mindset, roadblock here is being afraid of failure. So being afraid that you're going to fail is stopping you from taking that next step. You're afraid, if I launch my business, it's going to fail. So I'm afraid of failing, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. I'm afraid of trying this new thing. I'm afraid of creating this new product. I'm afraid of writing that blog post, of hitting publish. I'm afraid of going live. I'm afraid of this, so therefore I won't do it. Well, that just sounds like the biggest killer of all your business progress in life or in business. I'm afraid of asking that person on a date. I'm afraid of proposing. I'm afraid of trying that new thing. I'm afraid of making a lifestyle change. I'm afraid of saying no to that person. And then, okay, well then if you just let that block you off of everything, then now you're just a slave to everybody else and everything else. You have no control. And that's no good. So your fear of failure is stopping you from, you've already failed. But when you know that fear is simply an emotional response that's protecting you from something, then you can change the way you think about it. So you're not actually afraid of failing. You're afraid of what failing means. And so what's important is that you go really deep into that. Okay, so you say, when you're afraid of something, I'm afraid of launching my business. Don't let it stop there. Ask why. Why are you afraid of that? Go really deep to the worst case scenario. What is the worst that could happen? The absolute worst that can happen? My business goes under and I have to go back to my day job. Well, is that so bad? That's the second question. What's the worst that can happen? And is the worst case scenario really that bad? It'll be humbling, but is it really that bad? Is it life or death? Okay, maybe it's not. It's unlikely life or death. It's just, that sucks and is embarrassing and humbling. Okay. Now, what things can you do to mitigate that risk, to minimize the chances of that risk happening? Okay, well, I want to launch my business, but I'm afraid of it going under and having to go back to my day job. Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, so then how do I minimize that chance of happening? Well, you take the right steps, you create a plan, you get a mentor, you take some training on how to launch a business and how to plan it, how to strategize, how to create products and services that are positioned correctly with the right audience at the right price. And how do you grow an audience? How do you get customers? How do you convert them? How do you create a business that works, that functions, that grows, that's predictable, that you could eventually go full time with? Okay, so you could do all these steps to eliminate that risk, to minimize the risk, to the point where you go, it makes more sense for me to start taking action on that thing that I was once afraid of than it is to stay still. Because now the pain of inaction has surpassed the pain of action. So at one point you were afraid of starting because it hurt. But now that you've went into it and addressed why it hurts and why it's scary, and you realize it's not that bad and realize you can actually do something great with that and it's worth taking a chance, now it hurts more to not do anything. So the fear mindset is you being afraid of failing, but not going a step further and asking, what's the worst that could happen? How do I minimize the chances of the worst case scenario? Now, how do I start taking action on this? Okay, those are the mindset blocks. That, my friends, is how you build a strong foundation for your business. If you don't have that in place and you just jump straight to who's my audience and how do I solve their problem, then maybe you might get lucky with something, but chances are it won't work out that well. Chances are you have no idea, because if you're not going to address yourself and understand who you are and what your problems are and how to solve your own problems, how in the hell do you think that you're going to solve and understand somebody else's problems? Okay? If you don't understand yourself, how in the hell are you going to be able to understand somebody else? And then how in the hell are you going to be able to scale that to something meaningful where you can leave your job and grow your business to some meaningful size, where you provide for your family, where you have abundance and freedom and purpose in your work? If you have no idea who the heck you are, how are you going to do that for somebody else? You can't. You might get lucky, but you can't. So figure yourself out, solve your own problems, go really deep, go in that spot where it hurts, find out why it's there, figure out how to get rid of it, Do these things, understand your unapologetic dreams and desires. What the hell sets your soul on fire? What are you excited about? What gets you up in the morning? What's your vision, mission, and values for your life and for your business? Do you have those in place? If you don't, then what are you doing? You're just floating around. You're not working toward anything. What are your principles? Do you not have principles? Oh, well, guess what? Somebody else has principles for you. And they'd be very happy to have you abide by their principles. So figure your own vision, mission, values out. What do you stand for? What are you going to do? Establish your compass. Do it for your business as well. And then you need to rewire that brain. You need to change the way you think about your finances, about your possibility, about your potential, about the very reason why you're here, about your significance. You need to change your mindset about that there's an abundance, that there is room at the table, even if you have to build the damn table yourself. Okay? Think about that. That's building a foundation. Once you have that in place, then we can start talking about, all right, who's your customer? Okay? That, my friends, is skimming over the surface of module 1 in the launch course of 7 modules. And the first module is building that foundation, unlocking your potential, so you could truly be set free to move forward into establishing systems and hacking your primal nature, finding your niche, finding your pocket in the market, serving them, creating a business model, crafting an offer, and selling it, pricing and positioning your products and services, shipping it to that pocket in the market so that you could start finding out what's working, iterating, improving, and then scaling so that you could start managing projects, growing your customer base, and creating revenue that matters so that you could start creating where your problem now should be, I have too much work, I'm working too much, and I'm bursting at the seams. Now, my friends, that's a problem I like to solve for you. Okay, so that's where I want to get you. That's what launch is all about. Okay, Ryan has a question here. It says, can you talk through how you avoid light bulb syndrome? Because I think every opportunity I see will help me reach my goal if I feel myself being stretched out thin. Love it. I can answer that question. Ryan, have a notebook on you, like a little pocket notebook. You can use your phone, but I actually advise against it because we all use our phones for everything. So you might have an idea and then you take out your phone and then you get distracted by a million other things. So notepad, small notebook, something you carry around. You can use your phone if you must. Anytime you have a light bulb idea, an idea, write it down. Get it out of your head and on a piece of paper. Okay? And then stop thinking about it. A good idea will last. Tim Ferriss says, in more vulgar words, but he says, the good stuff sticks. So if you're worried about if you're going to remember an idea or if something that matters is going to, if you should action it, write it down. So now you've documented it. It's out of your head and on somewhere permanent. And the good stuff will stick. So if something keeps coming back at you, you review your list once a month of all your light bulb moments, all your ideas. You go through and go, terrible idea. That was bad. What was I thinking? That's interesting. I definitely wouldn't do that. Maybe in another life. Whoa, what's this one? That's something I need to think about. So when you have your ideas, write them down on a piece of paper. I have lists upon lists upon lists upon Trello boards upon Trello cards of ideas and ideas and ideas, and I might action 2%, 5% of them. And that's gotten me where I am so far. Probably there's some ideas in there that if I actioned earlier or if I have in place, then maybe certain things in my life or my business would be a bit easier. But so far, so good. Get them out of your head and on a piece of paper. That's my advice on that. James says, quote from Nelson Mandela, the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Exactly. We're all afraid. We're all afraid of something. And deep down, we're all fearful. It's what you do with it next that matters. Okay? You can't get rid of the fear. It's how you deal with it. Because the fears are trying to protect you from something. So how do you deal with it? So I'm going to give you a little call to action item here. I have a free gift for you. There it is. I'm going to change my camera to the better one. I have a new webinar, and I am really excited to share it with you. It's called 5 Steps to Launch Your Freelance Business and Book Your First $1,000 Client on the Side. So in the webinar, we're going to launch your business today, the day that you take the webinar, could be tomorrow, but today. We have an event coming up today, and we will try to book your first client, your first paying client, ideally $1,000. That's usually a good place to start this week. So that webinar is my absolute best training that's available for free on how to plan, launch, and grow a business. And if you want in on the action, if you want from what we're learning today, from what we did today, and you're not ready to join launch, if you're just not ready to jump into that just yet, then sign up for the webinar. It's right there, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar, and that will take you to the sign up page. There are a few convenient times that you can choose from, and you'll get a free gift just as a thank you for registering. So the free gift is the pricing calculator and revenue roadmap, both cherry picked right from the launch course. And those things will help you out with pricing, positioning, and finding out what products and services you should offer in your business. Once you have those in place, we could talk about how to implement them. The webinar is going to give you a ton of value. Check it out, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. Sign up, save your spot. There are a couple convenient times coming up very shortly here this week. And I would love to serve you in that. So if you're really looking for some high impact, high value, free training, right there, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. That is my ask of you today. Here is the screenshot of what that looks like. Free training, how to launch your freelance business and book your first $1,000 client on the side this week. Save your seat, get your free gift, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. And with that, I will, what I'm going to do here is, hold on. Here we go. What I'm going to do is close off. I'm going to end this off. That was a great session today. I really appreciate everybody coming. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to play a little video of I put a little webinar promo video. It lets you know more information about the webinar. And there are a couple little funny parts in there too I'd like to share with you. So if those of you are interested in taking this to the next level, check out that webinar. Everybody, I really appreciate you coming here. It's been a total pleasure. Thanks for coming. I hope this session has added value to your life in some way. And with that said, I'll see you next week. In our next session, we're going to be diving into the next, talking about what's in the next module of the launch course. And that's hacking your primal nature and building systems and creating a lifestyle that is conducive to your success. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. So bring your questions. And with that said, I'm out. Have an amazing weekend. Cheers, everybody. And God bless you. Bye now. Imagine having more than enough clients than you knew what to do with. That'd be a pretty great problem to have, right? Knowing you have a waiting list of clients months in advance wanting to work with you would change everything. Humor me and imagine what being fully booked would look like for you. I'll give you some ideas. You could quit your day job and finally be your own boss. Perhaps you'd start saving some money for your kids' education or retirement or buying your first home. You could be location independent and work while you travel. Or your spouse could leave their job, stay home with the kids, start their own business, or pursue their own passions. When I went full-time in my business, my entire life changed, and it opened me up to a brand new world of freedom and possibility that I'd never imagined possible. I often remind myself that I'm currently living my dream life, freedom of choice, to travel, to live where my family wanted to live, watch my children grow up, to set my own hours, to wake up without an alarm clock. You get the idea. I'm sure you could conjure up an image of what your life would look like if you finally had the freedom that running your own successful business would afford you. But there's a problem. You probably know that freelancing income and starting your own business is risky and volatile. One month you're earning a CEO salary, and the next, well, let's say beans and rice would be a luxury meal. I get it. I really do. Maybe you have a few clients, but you have no idea how to create a stable income that you could rely on from those low budget projects. Maybe you have the drive and desire to be successful, and you could imagine what your success would be like, but it ends there. You simply don't know how to get yourself to that goal. What if I told you that there was a clear path that you could follow so that you could position yourself as the go-to expert in your chosen niche or industry, to get booked based on the value you offer, not the price you charge, to dramatically increase your rates and attract better clients who book you in advance as a result? What if you could get fully booked in your business with your ideal clients, doing work you love doing, and earn a great living while doing it? You're in luck. My name is Brad Hussey, and I've supported my family on a single income with my business since 2012. One boutique design agency, 2 online education businesses, and 400,000 international customers later, I've experienced firsthand the ups and downs, the highs and lows, wins and losses that come with the territory of running your own business from home and online. I've picked up a few things along the way. Strategies, techniques, systems, tactics, tools, mindset, you name it, that have allowed me to quit my job, go full-time as a freelancer, and build a business that matters. A business that pays the bills, and much more. A business that has positioned me as an expert in my niche. A business that affords me the freedom and flexibility to travel, to take time off with my family, to enjoy life at my own pace, not my boss's pace. But here's the deal, I'm just a normal family guy living in a small town. I'm not out of touch, and I've been where you are in your business journey. I'm just a few steps ahead, and I believe I've cracked the code to building sustainable, growing, and thriving client-centered business by building a business based around service while using the tools and technology we have available to us online today. And this is why I want to invite you to join me in my free webinar today. You'll learn what it takes to plan, launch, and grow a successful business as a freelancer, consultant, and online entrepreneur. We'll dive deep into why you should launch a business this year and why it's crucial to start with service as a freelancer. You'll learn the bullseye test to find a successful business idea and how to choose a profitable niche in any industry. You'll learn how to launch today and book a paying client this week using only the skills, tools, time, and connections you have at your fingertips right now. You'll learn my triple threat technique for pricing and positioning so you can set your business up for ultimate success and scale beyond your revenue goals. And finally, I'll show you my EDA formula for scaling your business 2x, 5x, 10x, and how to turn marketing, sales, and service delivery on autopilot. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I'd love to invite you to my webinar. And as a thank you for saving your spot, I'll send you a free gift that I call the Revenue Roadmap. Once you save your spot, you'll get an email from me with a link to access this huge free resource where you'll learn how to charge the prices you deserve, how to double your rates, and learn how to achieve your revenue goals in your business. Your free account will be preloaded with my interactive revenue roadmap tool, plus a video walkthrough. Also, I'll throw in my pricing calculator, which will show you the science behind hourly, weekly, fixed, and value-based pricing models so you can start implementing that pricing in your business today. So without further ado, save your spot and I'll see you in the webinar.